Good morning. Today is the 5th day of our conference. And the conference is in Latvia, in Jūrmala, on the shore of Baltic Sea. And we are working with the subject criminalization of nuclear war systems. Today is the most joyful day of them all, because we have accomplished going through nuclear war subject as such, sketching it in, and also through the systems of it, and also through the law and judicial aspects of criminalization of nuclear war systems. And today we will be working with how to put good systems in place, and what is the methodology to get fabulous society instead of this Inquisition social grid of prison planet network. Because it can be done quite fast and without any violence. It can be done lovingly. To introduce the subject, though, I will go back to the structure of criminalization penalties, because that is what we want to avoid. We want to avoid violence, restructuring the systems of our society, so that every unit in the society gets a better chance, a better life, more safe, more loving and more sacred and stable environment, in ecological, further and further ongoingly better ecological environment. And how do we do that? I have been talking about the power of indigenous that has been violently taken away from the power structures, and therefore the divine laws have been forgotten. And here now I will show you the 10 Indian commandments. So here they are. Treat the earth and all that dwell thereon with respect. Remain close to the Great Spirit. Show great respect for your fellow beings. Work together for the benefit of all mankind. Give assistance and kindness wherever needed. Just give it. Do what you know to be right from your heart consciousness. Look after the well-being of mind and body. Dedicate a share of your efforts to the greater good. Good with double O of God. Be truthful and honest at all times. Radically honest. Take full responsibility for your actions. I am responsible. I, everything, all of these commandments are about me. The responsible, loving unit that is powerful. That's what indigenous rules are about. And they are the divine rules of our Creator, the most responsible one, and the most loving, who is always there. Just reach out. And from this fabulous higher law, I will now go back to our reality, where we live in the grid of laws created by who knows whom. And in that matter, I would like to scientifically return to the subject of criminalization and ontology, just to be sure that it is really clear that the concept here is how to criminalize nuclear war systems without violence. So what we are up to here is criminology and penology. So what are the penalties? How to create the penalty system that is good for all living systems, that provides people into power, the loving ones, the responsible ones, the people who are loyal to the local people. That would be 3 criteria to start with. And the other people who hurt the local people would not be in the realms of power. That's for sure. That's the system we need. But the ones, how to decentrifuge the people out of the realms of power, the ones that have put on systemically inquisitorial systems in place. We have to go through criminology and actually ontology systems of penalty without causing any damage, to anybody. Not one single unit should be hurt. Biologically, psychologically, they have to be safe and well provided for. That is very important to succeed to change the system. So we have to get away from the current criminology and penology, which is extremely violent. This current criminology and penology is the cause of our inquisitorial prison plant. And it is quite well described even in Wikipedia. You just Google criminalization and you will find these quite exquisite system descriptions. And furthermore, you can see the concept of ontology. And that is about this, the categories of being, yeah? And their relations. Basic categories of being and their relation. And academic studies have failed to approach the conceptual modeling to get the society to thrive and the living systems to thrive. So this is exactly what we will be talking today about. how we will change that and how we will put in place these thriving, loving systems into the society of any size. We can be doing this in a society of your local community. We can be doing this in the family. We can be doing this on our own individual development level. And furthermore, we can do this for our city, for our village, for our country, for the continent, for the planet, and why not universe? Because systemic modeling of society or any unit is a very useful tool. So, of course, it needs also control mechanisms when we go astray to update it again. And the basic rule for us to succeed here is just to stay in love and do this lovingly. And then we will succeed. And only loving people should be doing this work. Because if you will check out Sam Vaknin's YouTube sessions on narcissism, you will understand that we have too many narcissists in the grids of power. And they are really sort of filtered into the grids of power quite deliberately by their narcissist qualities. Because the current business education in the universities and everywhere is just so wrong. It is a psychotic way of approaching the matters of exchange of goods of our Mother Earth. And the suggestion here is to return to our basic, thousands of years used structures and systems of the gift society. As Evan from North America said, the Indian, the gift society is when the richest one is the one who gives the most, who has the resources to give the most. So I will try to be rich today and to give you the tools how we will decentrifuge the errors of our systemic societies. So, for that, I would suggest you to get to study the Thrive movement. But I will elaborate further why Thrive movement is not enough. But the concept is quite well described. That's why I'm going to show it, because the Thrive movement is financed from quite huge corporate forces as well. And they have the means to conceptually describe the methodology of modeling society, which we don't have. I'm doing this conference on zero budget. But these people, they have, you name it, resources. That's why I will be using this Thrive movement webpage as the base to start with. Because their movie, Thrive, it quite well describes the way I work, although it doesn't give you the systemic parameters of, in the same way, like the sun model of the bolts will, after a bit later, I'll show you that one. But I'll directly say why Thrive concept is not enough. And just as the Zeitgeist concept, it isn't enough just because of one reason. It's because it has been taken over by wealthy, and the second reason is because there is no control mechanism to check how the locals, the aborigines, are not hurt, and how aborigines have possibility to connect these processes to divine sources and forces, and how their communities will get empowered and their laws will be put in place. So that is the era of Thrive and Zeitgeist and similar movements, because in the end they are again part of the New World Order. However beautiful conceptually they are, they do not have the divine laws in place, and they do not have the native people's rights as the strongest, as the ones who are wise spiritually, divinely. So when you only work with parameters that everybody is equal, you don't know where you're going. You can go into grey, slave, goal. You can reach a goal where everybody is equal slaves. And that is exactly what the New World Order knows. And that's why we have all these systems of elections that give us no results, and so on and so forth. Because the decisions have to be with the wise and loving and the connected to the higher forces of light. Those people should decide, so that everybody else can get rehabilitation and welfare and be taken care of lovingly. Because you know yourselves, most of the people are will neither take care of you nor love you. So don't make them decide your lives. Don't. So let's dig in then. Let's go into the Thrive concept and see what it's all about. Thrive movement. Could you please zoom in the web page so everybody can see where we are? thrivemovement.com. but that movie is so gloriously beautiful, Thrive movement movie. So everybody sort of gets breathless and thinks, wow, at last. But if you check this thrivemovement.com, then you will realize that you can't even show that movie without paying them something. For other people, I mean, show other people. So it is anyway a business concept, and it is again quite nice and caring and loving, but a trap. And the person who founds this is James Gamble. No, what is his name? Anyway, his surname is Gamble. And as you see, he's a great-grandson of James Gamble, the founder of Protect and Gamble. So he's Foster Gamble, that's right. The guy who runs Thrive Movement. So they say that he's not associated with multinational company. And maybe he isn't. Maybe he really sort of does this full-heartedly, and who knows? It's just that, and he does really. You can find on Thrive Movement that the questions of aborigines are really taken care of too, and that's where I got to see Evan Peters. And it's fabulous. And maybe I am too late in my opinion. Maybe they have taken some systemic tool to make aborigines to run the show. Because actually those aborigines have the property rights of that land. In the United States, it was the corporation of church that came in and colonized the Indian lands. And the extinction of Indians, the massacre of Indians that was going on there, is quite hidden in the history. Just as hidden as the extinction of Latvians here in Latvia when Christianization of our region came on. But just 1/5 of aborigines survived here in Latvia. Christian colonization, Christian crusades. And I think it was even worse for Native Americans, Indians there. And instead we have now a situation where we have Christian churches on every sacred place in Latvia. So every sacred place of pagans has a church on it that is a property of Christian religious sects. And the same is, of course, in the United States and globally. So as we discussed yesterday, so the Jesuit order is the biggest ruler in the world, and if we will decentrifuge the systems lovingly, they will themselves change that. Let's help them to do that. Nevertheless, so we were talking about Foster Gamble, and that is exactly the third point then that they don't do. They don't change the rule of Jesuit order everywhere. That's what Thrive Movement does not talk about, which is also a systemic error. That no religious sects should be ruling any properties in a way that stops the local people to use their sacred lands and sacred hills. So if we look forward, what Thrive is, we talk about Illuminati symbolism here. I don't think that is, well, you can check it all yourself. Anyway, Illuminati symbolism. And they have quite nice description of money in cashless societies. You see, this is what I meant with hosting screenings. So it is still a little business. What this education system is quite reasonable, but still business. So it is not a gift society. Even Protect and Gamble can't afford it to give you the gifts of knowledge, like Indians always did. They just opened their hearts and let in Christians into their land, and they were slaughtered. How do we stop that from happening? Let's go on and check out the very system. What I'm, as a systemical scientist, I'm interested in the very concept of thrive. Well, I think I'm melting because. So this is our conference program, yeah? Let's go to the day 5. Anyway, I'm trying to find where is the theoretical part of it. Tu vari parādīt, ko es tur daru tagad, ja? Es skatos tos. The 12 sectors, that is the thing here. It's in Get Informed, yeah? The 12 sectors. We click on that. And here you see the parameters, sort of, within the system of Thrive concept. Because this is the Thrive conceptual model. You can see here, Thrive concept. Yeah? There are 12 balls in one structure. So these are 12 sectors, as they call them. And they are using following sectors: arts, economics, education, environment, governance, health, infrastructure, justice, media, relations, science, and spirituality. And I will be going later through the sun model of the balls concept, and they will be different. but some will be very similar. So, but nevertheless, however you put the core of the matrix that you are working with in modeling, we are getting everything, all the parameters into these sectors. Either I work with some model of the bolts or with this Thrive sector model. We want to get in there the full matrix of social systems of society, to get out the error parts, to really to create a filter that will centrifuge out the parts that are damaged and have turned society into prison and inquisitorial parts of it. So if we click on economics here, in Thrive, they have the aspect of, they have the vision, the danger and opportunity. And they have critical issues. Private bankers have rigged the economy to fail at our expense. Bankers have a monopoly on currency. Current and economic indicators give us insufficient feedback. And then they have video clips on the subject. Which is, a lot of this is quite the same that you will find later in the Sun model of bolts, but there is that error of the controlling units are grey instead of loving, indigenous. So let's go through them. That was economics. You can study it more yourself. Arts. Arts is a very little section here. Education. Yeah, you see here is the major error. Vision. People are free to pursue the type of learning that most appeals to their interests, passions and needs. What is to be free? The concept of freedom is quite a seductive, tricky one. Everybody nowadays is studying some kind of arts and design, fashion. Young people don't know how to do crops, grow bread, take care of cattle, return to Mother Earth and be ecological manager of her goods. That is something that is never in the realm of free will nowadays of young people. It is sort of impossible when they are trapped in the grid of modern net of media. So their will is ill, actually. Most the will of most people is ill. So I would like to say that this freedom of will is quite a trap. Because our will is manipulated by media and education, which is manipulated by the current systems of inquisitorial systems. We cannot do as we wish, because we are in the frame of the systems of, we call them here as nuclear war systems. So much more important than to do what I want is to do what I know I can do in a virtual, very what has to be done. When I do what has to be done to what is virtue, when I listen to the higher forces and hear what important things are there that have to be done, when I know the parameters of virtue, then I can do them. Even if I don't find it sort of comfortable or pleasant or enough sleep and pleasures giving me. But I do know that I can create better, very valuable pieces of reality. I can create them. I'm a creator. That's where I become expression of higher force. That's where I become part of the divine plan of the Creator. So here is the trap again. Definitely. The concept of freedom is actually the trap itself. Not therefore said that we shouldn't be free in many aspects. And we should definitely get out of the slave society to be freeholders. So, sorry, bring it back. I'll just go through the slide, what they say about compulsory schooling, yeah? That is what is approached critically. A lack of transparency in funding. And then there are 4 videos of some old man. And now we will check out environment. What does Thrive say on environment? Healthy planet free of pollution. Okay, they have an approach on nuclear radiation that as the most dangerous pollutant. They have approach on chemtrails and human geoengineering. GMOs, climate change, plastics, honeybee colony collapse, and they have some fabulous speakers here nice parts of the poem. Definitely. But not enough parameters on the crucial. Okay, then we go to the next one. Health. And they talk about the danger of profit, motivated healthcare, and praise natural healing. That's lovely. Medical establishment is a topic here, and the codex. Very good. That's actually a very interesting subject. Codex Alimentarius, I think it was called. International Food Code threatens consumer health and protection. Yeah, Codex Alimentarius Commission. They are sort of trying to turn our food into something absolutely horrid that would turn us into zombies and kill us eventually. That's very nice. The Thrive movement has that in front. And suppression of natural remedies. Yeah, this is very important. Finding the breakthrough in cancer cures. Of course there is. Cancer can be cured very easily in a matter of simple, lovely, hurtless, pleasant treatments. And it's not allowed because we are in the middle of depopulation, genocide systems of nuclear war as one expression of it. Okay, and here we see some eminent speakers of the Thrive movement go on the subject of health. And let's check out what they have on governance. So the vision for the governance sector: people voluntarily cooperate and organize to create prosperous communities without coercive government. And danger here is involuntary government violates your rights, creates war and funds itself and its actions with your money, all without your approval. An opportunity we can transition out of current government systems and ultimately create empowering, self-governing, voluntary communities where everyone is given the opportunity to thrive and be truly free. Truly free, huh? Yeah. Anyway. How can you be truly free of your children, of your parents, and other responsibilities? So, anyway, critical issue is involuntary governance. And here we have Edward Griffin talking collectivism versus individual rights. Anyway, some nice parameters there, artifact, but not sufficient enough. Infrastructure is the next sector. Critical issues is failing infrastructure and nuclear radiation. yeah, nuclear radiation goes into all of the sectors, of course. Anyway, because then we go to justice. Oh God, they have justice as a separate sector. Fair enough. There will be rules, but no rulers, and justice will serve the protection of individual rights through respected, independent dispute resolution organizations. That's the vision. And danger, our current justice system is inefficient, racially biased, punitive, overly costly, and fails to protect each individual's rights. We can create a justice system based on the principle of non-violation that serves and protects everyone. Okay, this is the place where they got into the word race. That's something tricky too, racially biased. But how do we protect races? Because each race should be protected. Right now, there is no such protection on the planet at all. Racial protection, ethnical protection, genetical protection. You can have these dogs and pigs and whatnot, and cows who have genetical species that are protected. And frogs, even frogs, when they are creating this nuclear waste cemetery in Sweden, the only thing they moan about in their environmental impact statement is one type of frog that might be affected. Nobody talks about people living there that might be affected in their environmental impact statement. Huh? Anyway, so I think racially biased is just great. But every race should have a chance to be biased for themselves, and every race should be protected. Every ethnic group should feel safe on their motherlands and wherever else. So, what are the other aspects? We're going through the 12 sectors of Thrive movement. Media, the hydra of media. This is the realm of power that hypnotizes your will not to be free. It's getting into you through every corner in your society nowadays, and even through the mobile that you carry on your very beloved body. I hope you don't. But anyway, vision here is everyone has access to a wide range of diverse and accurate information from sources that are transparent about their funding, and which include in-depth analysis and honest debates about controversial issues. Danger: a handful of corporations own media and their influence is not transparent. Their intrinsic conflict of interest limits our access to diverse perspectives. Quite right. That would be great if this would be achieved. But mainly what's lacking here is that the indigenous in every local community should have their media channels that are totally untouchable. They should be funded to any extent that the indigenous need. And everybody is indigenous somewhere, so everybody will have the right to express themselves. That's another way how we can structurize it. So what do they have here? Critical issues is media consolidation, internet neutrality, and some video clips. So, relations. Here we're getting into systems of psychology. A world where people will have access to the skills, role models and experiences to support relating to oneself and to others with respect, cooperation and balanced interchange. Lovely. But the word I'm missing here is time. People should have time to have relations. Because when people work too much now in this overworked society, people don't have time for relations. So this is about abolishing the modern slavery that I talk about. I haven't seen it anywhere actually in these sectors, but I was probably just. I hope it must be somewhere here. I was scanning too nonchalantly. Anyway, critical issues here relating to self and other. The Aikido of intimacy. That would solve everything, seems to be here. With one little Aikido intimacy package. You'll have to watch that. Anyway, video clips here. Some more suggestions. Loving relationships. Okay, let's go further on. Science, at last. At last we are in the subject of science, and because modeling is scientific actually. So vision a world where science serves the thriving of all people, where human beings are open to the benefit of rigorous processes of inquiry with logic, research and testing, while simultaneously honoring the role of consciousness and phenomena that stretch beyond the reach of the physical senses and the rational mind. Quite well defined, except it could be improved, of course, with some loving touch and responsibility and resource redistribution. Okay. So two lenses through which to view the role of science. There are critical issues. Shall we have a look? Two lenses. Let's have a look. And here we have Foster Gamble himself talking about the subject. He's talking about fundamental energy pattern here. So the two lenses he wants to offer is the torus, the fundamental energy pattern of the universe. Looks like donut. And the global domination agenda, the plan of the would-be ruling elite to control the life of everyone on Earth. So first the torus, for an in-depth explanation we can check fundamental patterning topic. The torus is a donut-shaped whirlpool vortex that is the only manner by which self-sustained motion can exist in a given medium. That means that it is the only form in all of nature where the flow of energy through it is continuously sustained, which allows it to keep its shapes at any scale. So what we looked at, all scales of science, with that in mind: physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, anthropology, philosophy, sociology, astronomy, astrophysics, cosmology. Okay, so he goes into these sciences here, showing that they also have this shape. Beautiful, huh? So he's protecting, advocating the shape of 12. Through cosmology, point 2, the reflexive universe, and the grid of 7 kingdoms and their substages. Okay, and here he has Deepak Chopra. Oh God, I love him. This is my teacher, Deepak Chopra. He's really great. He taught me a lot about love. I have a Latvian video, 40-minute video on introductory love course. And it has a Russian translation, Latvian translation, sorry, English translation. So Latvian course, which has a scripted English translation on nationalstate.info. Okay, so here they go on old myths and try to see through the lens of thrive instead of global domination agenda that follows the money, the false money. Anyway, trying to recognize the wholeness of our being. Okay, critical issue. Now we know what he means. And this is indeed a very important topic, how to redistribute the wealth and the resources, and how to control the process to stop the domination of this reptilian eye. Either it's narcissist, human, or who knows what it is. As a scientist, I'm open to any theoretical assumptions about who is dominating us. Because the only scientific way to do that is to have the theories open and explore them. Nevertheless, there are all these corporations. All of these corporations right now have taken over the planet and the living systems and people. And all of these living systems are now in the violence of this inquisitorial environment. That's what we agree on. But I don't really see that the gamble has provided the means for us to get out of the trap. Because he does not tie it to the rule of the loving, responsible, and loyal, and to those who know the divine connection, who can connect to the higher forces of Creator. Because the masses are just incapable to do that. Okay, so let's go on. We have some sectors left. Rather not, one sector we have left. And that is, if I recall, spiritual. Let's have a look. Yeah, spirituality. Spirituality. A world where each person is free to experience directly his/her own unique sense of their inner spiritual nature without coercion or suppression. That sounds fabulously nice. But has the same trouble of the concept of freedom, as I mentioned before. The essence of spirituality is a critical issue here. Shall we have a look at that? This is Foster Gamble again. He wants just to identify key experiences of humans that they share and key principles in the realm that might help us navigate a sustainable and thriving journey on planet Earth. It's spiraling through the cosmos. So this is from the modern philosophy that says that the goal of what is the purpose of life, of my life, your life, and French philosophers say your purpose with your life is to live your life. Very shockingly unpurposed, I would like to say. And I started the seminars on the first day by mentioning that the purpose of life is double. The first is to evolve the spirit during life, the soul, through exercises of experiences. And the second one is to leave your legacy to the next generation, the creation of the next generation. That is the second purpose. So it's very different from what Foster Gamble says. This is sort of quite unpurposed. I bet he would object to my translation of this. But freedom definition of freedom is very corrosively dangerous. So what do they try to do here? Okay, I'll put on Deepak Chopra, though I don't know what they say here. It's just 1 minute.
I think unfortunately both terms, intelligent design and evolution, have been hijacked by fundamentalists. So when we say intelligent design, we think creationism, as in the Bible, usually. And when we think evolution, we think strict Darwinian adaptation with no room for creativity. So the debate goes on because both people are attached to their fundamental notions of what they mean by those terms. I think evolution is a reality. Darwin's model was very good, incomplete. I think on the other hand, so-called intelligent design is also a reality. To say that there was no design is like, or there's no organizing impulse, or there's no correlation, or there's no creativity, is to say that a hurricane went through my junkyard and when it left there was a Boeing 747 and it was all random.
That was something I didn't get. What was that about? Anyway, I love Deepak Chopra. He is my teacher in the subject of love. His book, The Path to Love, is definitely the book I would take with me if I had to choose one book to go to alone to an island and have to stay there forever. That would be the book, The Path to Love, because it really shows you how to work with oneself to be love. And there is pure methodology in it. Methodology of being loved and being loved. Unfortunately, I will not have time to do the course on this subject here in this conference, but I will put it into my mind to turn it into an English version. I'll promise now. So, on we go now. And the bell rings that we have done all the 12 sectors. Of the Thrive concept. I just wanted to find some place where they had this beautiful okay, watch Thrive. Yeah, let's watch the Thrive concept starting point, just to finish it up. You see, I'll play something. Yeah. Okay, I'll write here my email so you can reach me too. Now you can write to me on info@bsrw.org.
That's the picture I would like to finalize this vision with. So the point is that we have gone through the Thrive Movement's 12 sectors, and the systemic modeling could be done with these and using Foster Gamble's lovely donut modeling. I will be using the sun model of the balls of my drive. We are the balls on the shore of the Baltic Sea, the most radioactive sea in the world. We have created a concept that will get us to reverse the systems of nuclear war into thriving systems. The next session. Stay with us. Thank you.